Now he turns around purely for political purposes and indicts a former president on misdemeanor offenses that they're straining to try to convert into felonies. That is when you know that the law has been weaponized for political purposes. That is when you know that the left is using that to target their political opponents.
Let's also tell you quickly what happens on New York. That's when Trump is expected in court for his first appearance. These are generally public proceedings. Defendants are usually booked and fingerprinted. Trump's mugshot could also be taken, which is all procedural. And if a first appearance is also an arraignment, then a plea is expected to be entered into. With that, it's a wrap on Plain Speak. News Epicenter is coming up next.
मैं जानता हूं जिनके खिलाफ एक्शन ले रहे हैं वो बहुत ताकतवर लोग हैं। बरसों बरस तक वो सरकार का सिस्टम का हिस्सा रहे हैं। संभव है कई जगह किसी राज्य में आज भी विकसित सत्ता का हिस्सा हो। बरसों बरस तक उन्होंने भी एक इकोसिस्टम बनाया है। आज देश में करप्शन के खिलाफ कार्रवाई करने के लिए राजनीति की इच्छा शक्ति में कोई कमी नहीं है। आपको कहीं पर भी हिचकने, कहीं रुकने की जरूरत नहीं है।
News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. As multiple opposition leaders face corruption investigations, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has sent out a message to the CBI during the agency's Diamond Jubilee celebrations. Addressing senior officers, Prime Minister Modi said, "The corrupt should not be spared, as the powerful will no longer be shielded." The Prime Minister said that the nation stands behind the agency, adding that officers should ignore political jabs and focus on their job to root out corruption. Prime Minister Modi also criticized the opposition for activating the ecosystem whenever it comes under attack to malign India's institutions. The opposition has come together under one political banner when it comes to accusing the government of misusing central agencies. Opposition parties have hit the streets and even derailed parliament in its offensive against the centre. However, in the election battlefield, the anti-corruption plank has repeatedly boosted the BJP, namely brand Narendra Modi. On the road to 2024, with the crucial state elections around the corner, Prime Minister Modi has once again mobilized the same election card. But amidst the escalating political war, who is truly walking the talk on corruption? Before I bring in the guests, here's what the Prime Minister said.
आज देश में करप्शन के खिलाफ कार्रवाई करने के लिए राजनीति की इच्छा शक्ति में कोई कमी नहीं है। आपको कहीं पर भी हिचकने, कहीं रुकने की जरूरत नहीं है। जिनके खिलाफ एक्शन ले रहे हैं वो बहुत ताकतवर लोग हैं। बरसों बरस तक वो सरकार का सिस्टम का हिस्सा रहे हैं। संभव है कई जगह किसी राज्य में आज भी विकसित सत्ता का हिस्सा हो। बरसों बरस तक उन्होंने भी एक इकोसिस्टम बनाया है। इकोसिस्टम अक्सर उनके काले कारनामों को कवर देने के लिए, आप जैसी संस्थाओं की छवि बिगाड़ने के लिए एक्टिव हो जाता है। ये लोग आपका ध्यान भटकाते रहेंगे, लेकिन आपको अपने काम पर फोकस रखना है।
So if we were to compare the UPA and the NDA regimes, here is a clear difference in the political lines surrounding investigations. Just look at these graphics. In the 10 years of the UPA regime, 43 opposition leaders were under the scanner, while under the NDA, since 2014, that number has gone up to 118. Moreover, 29 Congress leaders and allies were under the scanner during the UPA, while the probe lens has been on 6 BJP leaders under the NDA regime since 2014. So who are the big names for the opposition currently under the CBI scanner? Manish Sisodia, Aam Aadmi Party MLA and former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, is currently in jail over the liquor gate scam. There is another Aam Aadmi Party Neta. This is former Delhi Health Minister Satyendra Jain, who is also in jail in connection to a money laundering case. Then, BRS leader and Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao's daughter K. Kavita is also under the scanner for alleged links to the Delhi liquor gate case. RJD founder Lalu Yadav and several members of his family have been charge-sheeted in an alleged land for job scam. Karnataka Congress President D.K. Shivkumar has been quizzed by the CBI in a disproportionate assets case. So if you look at the list is certainly pretty long. Joining me now, Shazia Ilmi, BJP National Spokesperson. We have Advocate Arshpreet Kardial of the Congress, Khaliqur Rahman representing the BRS, Kapil Sankla, Senior Lawyer of the Supreme Court, SM Khan, former CBI officer. I'm going to begin with you, Shazia. Over 25 Congress leaders and allies were under the CBI scanner during the UPA era. Does the Congress have a point when it says it never shielded its leaders?
Well, the fact of the matter is, whether it's Mr. Chidambaram or Sonia ji herself and her son Rahul Gandhi, they're out on bail on matters of graft, and there are serious charges against them. And there are several leaders who have been out on bail, and there are serious charges of graft against them. I remember in 2011, the entire Anna movement was against various ministers of the UPA. And when it came to each and every ministry of theirs, if you look at whether civil aviation, power, energy, agriculture, and defense, of course, the most famous, there was just every ministry and every department was completely embroiled in charges of graft and corruption, and serious matters at that.
No, but then the point that is being made here, Shazia, is
yes. The Commonwealth Games.
So if anything, the Congress ensured investigation against its own. Then why does the BJP become a washing machine is the charge that is coming in from the opposition. That any opposition leader who joins the BJP, he has all his cases cleared. None of the agencies go after him.
This has been, Maria, this has been the discussion we've been having for the last, I think, a month now. And I think whether it's BJP leaders and in matters similar as Rahul Gandhi's, where the court has convicted senior leaders, there are 2 BJP leaders included in that, and there's 6 overall in the entire list. So it is not that there's no action being taken. If you look at what's happening in Karnataka, so there are charges and they have been caught.
Arshpreet,
so it's
politically speaking,
over, and I can give a list, and I've given it before, but I don't even think it's very current or relevant, because this narrative is made. Let me finish, because this is what I've been saying for the last 1 month, and frankly speaking, it doesn't take away from the fact that there are charges. There is a liquor excise policy, and there are charges of graft, and there is when it comes to TMC,
multiple opposition leaders
of cash found
are actually facing very damning corruption charges, which have not been dismissed by the courts. None of them have got any relief from any of the courts. Then can you still claim vendetta?
Thank you. When Ms. Ilmi just said that, this so-and-so leader of the Congress party is out on bail, as if being on bail meant you are guilty. Well, she should know and understand what the principle of natural justice says. It says it is innocent until proven guilty, not the other way around. So please get your facts straight. But if you want to go by this logic, BJP, according to ADR, has the maximum, BJP MPs have the maximum criminal cases pending against them. Go by this logic for them and oust them from a party. Number two, this is yet another technique of the Bharatiya Janata Party to divert attention from two issues. One is the Adani issue. We are seeking a JPC probe on that. This is zero tolerance. Order a probe, please. We'll see if you really have zero tolerance. If he'd be guilty, he'd be found guilty. If he'd be innocent, he'd be let off the hook. Number two, the state leaders of Karnataka who have so many corruption allegations and cases pending against them, the Bharatiya Janata Party wants to divert attention from that. Number two, we demand a probe from the Bharatiya Janata Party for these following leaders: Mr. Rane, Mr. Pokhriyal, Mr. Chauhan, Mr. Roy, Mr. Yedurappa, Mr. Vishwa Sharma, and the Reddy brothers. Please order a probe. Let's see if they are innocent or guilty. Why have you not?
Let's get into these three specific cases then. Kapil Sankla, this is a point that is repeatedly made by the opposition leaders, that if anything, this entire anti-corruption plank is, of course, advantage BJP because it just gives fillip to brand Narendra Modi. But when it comes to action against its own, those leaders who have joined the BJP from the Congress, they get some kind of clean chit from the investigating agencies.
Well, that allegation is a political allegation, but the legal answer to that would be this: that if there is an investigation going on against a particular person, irrespective of whether he belongs to one party or the other, can he claim today that just because there is no action against somebody else, you can't investigate against me? I mean, look at the slippery slope argument here. That one person would say that, I might be doing a crime or a criminal activity, but don't take any action against me because you haven't taken action against X, Y or Z. That can never be the argument and that can never be the defense. So, as far as whether action has been taken against somebody else or not is concerned, that is a separate issue. The issue here is this: whether the CBI is conducting investigation fairly, not referring to investigation or referring an investigation against somebody. That's another question. That's not a legal question. That's a question of politics. But legally, if the CBI is investigating something and it sticks, in the sense that if it goes to the court and the court says, yes, there is some merit, there is a cognizable offence and I'm inclined to hear the matter and therefore please file the charge sheet at a subsequent stage, which means that there is some merit to it and the CBI is doing its job. So unless and until you come and say that, I have been discharged, there was nothing against me, it was all castles in the air, then as far as those allegations are concerned, CBI is doing its job. It is doing it without fear and without fervor because the checks and balances have been given, in the sense that there is a CBC that has the power of superintendence over everything that the CBI does as far as corruption matters are concerned, and then there is the court where there is an onus on the CBI to prima facie prove its case so that the case can be further investigated, inquired into, the charge sheet filed and the trial takes place.
Okay.
Otherwise, the courts are going to throw those matters beforehand. Will doesn't happen?
Yes, but SM Khan, since you have worked in the CBI, political subservience has always been a charge against this institution, yet its conviction rate is the highest among all the investigating agencies.
Yes, certainly, Maria. CBI's conviction rate is very high. It is about 75% at the moment. And this is all generally about corruption cases and economic offenses. But the only thing is that whenever CBI takes up a matter, definitely it takes within the parameters of law and it brings the case to the court and then to the logical conclusion, either it ends in conviction or acquittal. But the most important thing is the limitation on the powers of the CBI. In fact, I have raised this issue a number of times that the CBI takes an all India statutory authority to investigate corruption against even public servants. It does not have a law to support its operation. It depends on the mercy of the states. And at present, 9 states have withdrawn their general consent to CBI to operate in these states. And CBI can take up only those cases which are given to it by Honorable Supreme Court or the High Courts. CBI, as far as the allegations of political influences are concerned, I agree with the speaker just now that whenever CBI takes up a case, it is based on some legal merit, it is based on evidence. Sometimes the timing of action and the pace of CBI investigation becomes questionable, for which CBI has to take a lot of care. Naturally, CBI, nobody can take a defense that if I am an accused, there are so many other accused, why you are taking against me. But certainly, if there are 10 accused and there are 10 reports available with CBI at a particular time, CBI should start logical investigation in all the cases and should not depend on any particular event or moment or occasion to start its investigation. CBI does it professionally. CBI has very competent professional people, and its motto, industry, impartiality, and truth.
But
They
Mr. Khan, you know,
always,
during the UPA, the courts had come scathingly against the CBI, calling it a caged parrot. Right now, the entire opposition is rallying behind these institutions. In fact, they are criticizing these institutions because just about every opposition leader today is facing some kind of investigation. So, you know, this charge of the CBI's fairness, once it was being raised by the judiciary, right now by the opposition leaders.
Yes. Yeah, there are issues about that. There are allegations about that. The problem is that CBI, you please study the structure of the CBI and powers given to the CBI by the government of the day, any government. CBI functions as a department of the government. It is an attached office of Ministry of Personnel and Training. Though for investigation purposes, it reports to the court, but it depends on the government of the day and state governments for many, many matters. So what is needed is to insulate CBI from the government. It is necessary that it should be made a totally autonomous investigating agency. And Supreme Court tried to do this in the judgment of Howrah case in 1996, but also they could not do much because they practically brought it under Central Vigilance Commission. Central Vigilance Commission is again a government body. So the need of our is to insulate CBI from the government control, give it financial autonomy, give it administrative autonomy, give it an autonomy to select its officers, because the entire process depends on the government of the day. So there is a possibility of influences here and there. But if it is a totally independent agency like FBI, though FBI is also a part of Department of Justice in USA, but as far as the appointments are concerned and their financial resources are concerned, they all are very autonomous, as we have departments like Election Commission of India, CAG in India. Similarly, CBI should have some kind of, even you see, CBI cannot file a special leave petition in Supreme Court against a decision of the High Court without the clearance given by the Ministry of Law and Justice. Then what do you expect? Suppose CBI is not happy with the judgment of High Court, it wants to go to Supreme Court, it has to take first concurrence of the Central Registry section of the Law Ministry in the Supreme Court. So, letter rogatory. CBI cannot issue a letter of request of investigation in a foreign country without the clearance by the government of the day.
That's right.
So, these all are handicaps in the functioning of the CBI. Then there are limitations on CBI created by various legislative amendments in Prevention of Corruption Act, where CBI cannot take certain action. Particularly
so, overall, the
policy
point that you are making, certainly, Mr. Khan, is that it's an agency which is doing its job. It may have some kind of handicap, but then it is very transparent in its functioning.
My question, what I'm saying is that we want to make it perfectly autonomous, and this is entirely under the control of the government to see that CBI is given lot of autonomy. Then we will have expectations from the CBI that CBI should function as a purely independent investigating agency without being influenced by any political formation or political.
That all these leaders who are crying vendetta, be it Manish Sisodia or Satyendra Jain or even K. Kavita, none of them have got any relief from the court. Even Lalu Yadav's cases have not been quashed by the courts. then why say that there is vendetta? I mean, why make it political when you have to fight it legally? Khaliqur Rahman.
Is that yeah,
Yes.
yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, see, this is a clear case of the political vendetta, especially for the reason is because, see, everyone is against corruption. We all want that the corruption has to be dealt very strictly and very sternly and in a totally impartial manner. It should not be a selective targeting. But so, and another thing, what Mr. Khan has said, I fully agree with Mr. Khan that CBI has to be made a totally autonomous institution, autonomous body, so that it won't work under the direction or the supervision or the guidance of the government of the day. So the questions are being raised because unfortunately the CBI is receiving the instructions in the orders from their bosses, and accordingly they are compelled to work as per the instructions, which is very unfortunate, especially.
No, but then
so I think
my question is that this is a legal battle. If a leader is being investigated, probed for corruption or alleged corruption, then fight it out in the courts of India. Why make it political?
See,
you have faith in, I'm asking, do you have faith in the courts of India?
Absolutely. We have absolutely.
Then seek relief from the court of India. That is
absolutely the point. Whenever it is needed, we are all going to the court. But see here, we have got every right to question the government for its selective approach, for its selective.
So it is selective.
So why only the?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Shazia, this point of selective investigation under the NDA government since 2014, only 6 BJP leaders are under the scanner. Then are we to believe that that NDA has a very strong internal self-correcting mechanism that none of these leaders are actually indulging in any kind of corruption?
So 2 things. One is that this is perhaps the first time in the Indian political history that we've had a government at the center for the last 8 years from where insane scams of corruption have not erupted. This is perhaps the first time that you can't blame any of the ministries, any of the leaders for any kind of a big ticket corruption or small ticket. Prime Minister has been a tough leader that way. But more importantly, when you hear Prime Minister speak today, as we all did, and yesterday, when he takes this, calls out this war on corruption, it's for everybody. And in a way, he is giving this message out to the CBI and to all the investigating agencies that you should not fear anybody. And this message is as much for his party as much as it for others. Because, there are people from every party in the BJP.
No, but Shazia, can I interrupt you?
I think
the
strengthening of the system and this approach of the Prime Minister, whereby he says that, do not fear it. Nobody can influence you. He also makes sure that CBI performs his job and is not taken in by any leader, be it the BJP or the senior leaders or the Congress or the CMs of other states as well of BJP. I think I see that because this is the only Prime Minister we have seen. I mean, Manmohan Singh had a very clean image. But his cabinet
so
did
Arshpreet,
so that's the
scandals, the scandals of the UPA 2 era is seen as one of the reasons why Manmohan Singh government was defeated by the people of the country. How confident are you that this vendetta card will rally the voters against the BJP? Arshpreet, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Maria.
Yes, please.
In many cases, it was also found out that the cases registered were wrong, they were false, and the people were also acquitted. Number 2, if the Bharatiya Janata Party says there is zero corruption, why do they induct leaders who have cases pending against them vis-a-vis corruption? Rane, Mr. Roy, Suvendu Adhikari, Captain Amrinder Singh, why do you induct them? Number 2, why has the Red Corner notice against Mr. Choksi been withdrawn? What has the Bharatiya Janata Party tried to do against it? Why did you even let it happen in the first place? Mr. Choksi, who's concerned with so many thousands of crores, his notice gets withdrawn. No debate, discussion, nothing is done by the Bharatiya Janata Party in order to tackle that. Number 3, the total number of cases, that have been disposed of by the Enforcement Directorate since 2005 are 25 cases. Total 25 cases have been closed. Number 2, in PMLA, 1,700 raids were made. Prevention of Money Laundering Act. And how many cases reached to conviction? 9 only. Majority of the cases that are registered by ED, CBI, SEBI, IT are against the opposition parties. Why is it that there is not even a single BJP leader who has a single ED, CBI case pending against them?
Okay,
is there any answer to that?
Please respond
and
to this. Okay, let us speak. Yes. Yes, go ahead.
So I want to respond to this in terms of asset seized under PMLA Act by the Enforcement Directorate. We saw the figures now, and that is what the Prime Minister spoke about, that just 5 days back, that the conviction rate actually has gone up, and conviction is done by the courts. At most, ED does investigation and good investigation without any political motivation. Conviction cannot be done, and because investigation is being done, now conviction will come through later. So you can't put the blame of conviction on the ED. And I want to just give you some figures of what the Prime Minister said about ED the other day. I mean, more than the crores worth of assets of so many leaders have been seized. So I don't know, and it's not just politicians, but it's businessmen and many other high net worth individuals, and scam artists and conmen and corrupt businessmen who have been under the radar. So if agencies are working well, and if opposition leaders have been corrupt, so surely being in the opposition cannot be your argument to continue to be corrupt only because you're in the opposition. That doesn't give you carte blanche to do whatever you want to do.
Okay, specific answer, Shazia. That question being asked by Arshpreet. Please respond, specific answer now.
What is the specific question?
Why was the red corner notice withdrawn against Mr. Choksi?
I don't know whether the red corner notice has been withdrawn against Mehul Choksi, and people believe that anybody who will bring them back will be this government, as we've seen in all the cases, whether it's Vijay Mallya or Mehul Choksi.
Okay, I have just enough time for the two experts, Kapil Sankla and SM Khan. SM Khan, first to you, and then I'll give the final word to Kapil Sankla. SM Khan, does this political, does this politicking, I will say, impact investigation? If the centre has given a free hand, is the politics just, I would say, white noise?
No, that's what I'm saying, that it has to be made a completely autonomous agency, not depending on either the central government or the state government for anything. Then only you can say that 100% CBI is capable of acting independently in all the cases. But as far as whatever case CBI takes up, there is some legal basis for that. It cannot take up cases just on conjectures or allegations. There has to be some prima facie case. But as I said earlier, that the timing of the cases sometimes becomes questionable, that you are taking up investigation against A at a particular time, not taking up investigations against B. So then it becomes certain aspects of raising questions about CBI. But if CBI becomes a totally autonomous agency, then I think the CBI can
okay, so this is about, you are raising the larger question of autonomy, but as far as the political will is concerned, that is certainly being emphasized by Prime Minister Modi here. Final word to you, Kapil Sankla. Yes, please.
But it has to be done also
very
practically.
To say this, that I just wanted to say that unfortunately you cannot take away the state's power, because that's a part of the constitution mandate of the security as far as an investigation being a state subject. CBI is an exception to the rule. You cannot give full autonomy, unfortunately, again, because as said by the Honorable Supreme Court, who watches the watchdog? And in this case, you need something like CVC or the centre to watch over CBI, otherwise it will become too powerful and too unwieldy. As far as the timing is concerned, yes, when a matter is sent to CBI, at times every political party that is prejudiced will of course raise the banner. But what is important is, and this is what I wanted to say, Let us not see how well CBI functions by how its conviction rate is, because CBI cannot do everything under its power to secure a conviction. Let us see how effective it is in investigating the matters, because conviction at the end is the subject of the court and not of CBI. Investigation is the subject of CBI, and let us give it credit for the kind of investigation.
All right. Shazia Ilmi, Ashpreet Kardial, Khaliqur Rahman, Kapil Sankla and SM Khan, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Shifting focus to debate 2 now, the state of West Bengal remains on the edge in the wake of the clashes during Ram Navami. With a mega showdown between the TMC and the BJP. The BJP has accused the TMC of engineering the violence during Ram Navami, including the attack on the Yatra in Hooghly, which was pelted with stones. BJP MLA Biman Ghosh, along with 10 others, sustained injuries during the violence. Section 144 has been imposed in the area, and the BJP state president Sukanto Majumdar was stopped from entering Hooghly. This prompted the BJP to stage protests over the deteriorating law and order situation in the state, accusing the TMC government of appeasement politics and an anti-Hindu agenda. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee hit back at the BJP, accusing it of deliberately entering minority areas without permission. She appealed to the Hindus of West Bengal, saying they must stop the BJP from spreading violence in the state. Beyond the escalating war of words, there is no end to the sporadic violence in the state. Bengal is no stranger to such clashes, but the big question remains, who is guilty of stoking tensions?
दस साल पहले कश्मीर था, अभी बांग्लादेश अफगानिस्तान की हालत जैसी है, बाहर निकलने की अनुमति नहीं है। निकलेगा तो उसके ऊपर पथराव होगा, आक्रमण होगा, महिलाओं पर अत्याचार होगा। और जो सरकार है कानून व्यवस्था संभालने की उनकी क्षमता नहीं है। धीरे धीरे रसातल में जा रहा है बंगाल।
I have been stopped more than 3 hours with my supporters. It is totally political danga, not a religious danga.
আপনাদের মধ্যে দিয়ে বিদ্যাসাগরকে দেখতে পাই, যারা আমাদের মাতৃভাষা শিখিয়েছেন, আজকে পারবেন না তো দাঙ্গাবাজদের রুখতে, গুন্ডাবাজদের রুখতে।
Priyanka Tibrewal, spokesperson of West Bengal BJP, is joining us live. We also have Raju Datta, TMC spokesperson. Loknath Chatterjee is a lawyer, and Professor Gargi Nandi Roy is a political analyst. Priyanka, I'm going to begin with you. Are you guilty of provoking the situation on the ground? Or why start a yatra when you know the situation is tense?
See, we had to go down on the ground to get in touch with our people because we had to find out as to what has resulted. And moreover, after this incident took place, you know, the people who were part of the procession, and a peaceful procession, they were arrested by the police rather than arresting the miscreants who are responsible for this kind of brutality or the barbaric violence which took place. Because this procession of Ram Navami was attacked. It was attacked by mobs, and we could clearly see it on videos. But rather than arresting those miscreants, the people who participated in the procession, they were arrested. So we had to go down to the ground to find out, to raise our voice against this kind of atrocities by the police.
Right now, the primary challenge for the state is to ensure there is peace, that the law and order situation prevails, so that the tension can be diffused, rather than, you know, continuing with another political yatra. Can't you just ensure that you are with the state government on this issue?
See, it is Mamata Banerjee who is provoking each and every day. It is she who was mourning on the day of Ram Navami, which sent a direct message to this miscreants that, you know, you can just carry on doing whatever you want. And even after the incident, it is she who is shamelessly saying, that the people who were part of the procession, they have done danga. Whereas in the videos, you can clearly see that they were attacked. It is now Mamata Banerjee who is provoking more, so by saying that on 6th, there is Hanuman Jayanti and there will be more danga. So it is she who is creating this provocation
Mr.
in the minds
Chatterjee,
of people.
despite multiple damning observations from the courts, law and order remains an issue in Bengal. So the question is, can the judiciary really take any suo motu action now? Loknath Chatterjee, that's a question to you.
Yeah. See, I'll tell you, right now, today, there was a petition moved before the Calcutta High Court. Earlier, what we've been seeing that there's a distinct trend which has been seen. So this started with the rape and murder of a young child in Tiljala, then Ram Navami processions, they were being attacked. So if you look at it and if you see the way the police is acting, the police has given it a political color. Now, if you look at, in fact, even the Ram Navami processions, so why are BJP people being singled out and attacked? So why are people, why is the police acting in such ham-handed fashion? Why is the police not taking the bull by its horns? So there are a lot of issues which remain. In fact, some investigation has been transferred over to the CID. So where was the failure on the part of the local police authorities to investigate? Why are these FIRs being drawn in such shoddy fashion? Why are people being attacked in the presence of the police people? So therefore, these are questions when people have been giving intimations on Ram Navami. In fact, if you look at Howrah, the same place where the procession was attacked was the same place where the procession was attacked last year also. So why weren't police people posted
That's a specific question. That's a very direct question. Riju Datta perhaps will respond to this.
Yes, thank you. See, I'll give you some pertinent answers to it. There were 10,000 Ram Navami processions across West Bengal. This incident happened in Howrah, one district, in one small locality called Shivpur. But still, this shouldn't have happened. Now, one thing is very clear, that the toolkit has been exposed. In 7 different states of this country, during Ram Navami procession, we have seen violence. It is nothing got to do with Hindu-Muslim. This is a criminal violence. And why I say that is because Bihar, West Bengal and Maharashtra, the 3 places which is severely been hit with violence, are the places where in 2024 BJP is losing. It is a part of the toolkit that has been completely exposed. We have posted hundreds of videos, and tell me one thing, please, all the viewers I'm asking this, where in Hindu scriptures, in Veds or Puran, it says that to pay respect to Prabhu Ram, to do his prayers or to be in his rally, you have to carry illegal kattas, swords and bulldozers and bombs and acids? Where does it say it? So this is
I have another question.
Very clear.
Since you are saying,
yes,
since you are saying that you should not be brandishing swords, fine enough. But if there was a mobilization of this nature regarding arms and ammunition, what was the state government doing?
Brilliant. First of all, I can show it on your channel. The letters, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad and the Bajrang Dal, and no matter what other fringe groups they are, they applied for permission for Ram Navami rally. We have given specific terms and conditions, like when to start the rally, when to finish the rally, whether there will be DJ in the rally or not, what arms and ammunition you can carry in the rally or not. Why? Because law and order is a state subject and it is up to us to maintain law and order. But all these fringe groups under the main shadow of the BJP, instead of closing the rally at 5:30, they start the rally at 5:30. They do everything. They think that by bringing a mob of outsiders to Bengal, they can hold the state law and order at ransom. We will not tolerate this. Rioters do not have any religion, neither they have political affiliation.
No, then if you are, all this is loud talk after the situation went out of control. Priyanka Tibrewal, how do you react to this TMC charge that you are the one who is engineering these tensions only because BJP sees some kind of political opportunity in Bengal post this, polarization?
It was yesterday that they were saying, that all this has happened because of provocation. And today they are saying that, these bombs and everything were carried by the people who were part of procession. So every day they're changing their stance. Now, secondly, Mr. Riju Datta was talking about some elections, 24 elections. So just tell me that after they won the election with such a majority, the very next day we saw that there were violence all over West Bengal and which continued for many, many days, which has been witnessed, which has been approved in the court. The NHRC team came and everyone saw what was happening. Now TMC is taking a stance that BJP is doing this for elections. So tell me, what was the police doing when there were bombs and stones and everything was there in those places where police was posted already? What is the law and order situation? You can very well understand.
Riju, the government appears to be guilty of going slow on the crackdown. We have seen violence for over 5 days now.
No, right now there is no violence in Bengal. See, you know what is our where we went wrong. Unlike Delhi, we did not stop the Ram Navami procession. That is where we went wrong, and that is why they used the name of Lord Ram to incite such violence. We have arrested 36 people, out of which one of them has a clear link with BJP minority leader, and I'm saying this on national channel. The day before the Ram Navami rally, the leader of opposition, Shubhendu Adhikari, from a public stage says, tomorrow is Ram Navami rally, there will be 1 crore people on the road, and keep your eyes glued on the television, see what happens. He said it from a public stage, and the visuals are there out on social media on every platform.
Why this provocation, Priyanka?
The government doesn't have guts.
Why this provocation?
The government doesn't have guts to arrest the provocators. The government doesn't have guts to arrest those miscreants. And they are going and arresting BJP people. They are arresting people who are part of the procession instead of arresting those who are responsible for this attack.
Unfortunately, Ms. Tibrewal, the person you say that we should arrest goes and sits in the lap of the Home Minister, mentioned in the ED and CBI charge sheet is the
oh, Mr. Riju Datta, we are talking about violence here. Please don't change the subject. The fact remains that this government is a government of violence who understands only the language of violence. This government understands policy of appeasement.
I think that's going too far. Now, let me bring in Professor Roy, because I think politicians...
Yes, you understand appeasement. That is why you...
Okay, so then let me ask that question.
That is why the Chief Minister said, don't go to Muslim areas. What are Muslim areas? Explain, please. What are Muslim areas? Why not go through Muslim areas?
Why? I have showed you the cutscene. Please show me the cutscene. Yes. My name has been taken.
Yes, Professor Roy. Do you feel that this violence reeks of some kind of tacit appeasement politics? This is not for the first time. There are security situations around Hindu festivals. Who gains from this?
Yes, Maria, thank you for inviting me. Maria, let me remind you and the audience and Riju that in Bengal, nothing happens without Didi's inspiration. I don't know if you have ever been to Bengal. You just step out of the airport, you'll see big hoardings, Didi's inspiration. Even the tiger gives birth to a cub with Didi's inspiration. So do you think it is possible that this kind of violence will happen? And Didi had no intelligence report, being the Home Minister. It is absolute failure. Yes, it is appeasement because from her Dharna month, she clearly incited. Because Riju, you people are fearing that your Muslim vote base is shrinking. That is the reason she incited that don't go to Muslim areas. What are Muslim areas? There cannot be.
You bring in Hindu and Muslim. We don't. We call a rioter a rioter.
Your Chief Minister stated from the Dharna month what was the reason for her saying that don't go, and don't we remember what the National Human Rights Commission had said, that there is no rule of law in West Bengal but the law of the ruler. If there is the law of the ruler and if there is an absolute failure of that law, who is to be blamed if not the Home Minister of the very state?
National Human Rights Chairman is a BJP cadre established.
Don't blame all the institutions. You people are becoming anarchic from the court to all institutions. All constitutional bodies are started because
you people cause riots here. You all will be brought to book and you all will be arrested if you try to
know the kind of violence when even after winning an election, the kind of rape and murder.
If you try to disrupt the law and order,
even leave 60-year-old woman was raped.
What nonsense!
Son was killed.
What are you
talking? Abhijit Sarkar son was killed in front of her mother's eyes. How many murders and rapes have we seen in the post-war violence?
From and you give them a national
hate mongers? You are lying on national television. So we have seen.
Okay. We have a lawyer as well. Let me ask this question to him. Does this look like it's another manufactured crisis in Bengal? Mr. Chatterjee?
Riju's statement, he said that, there were certain permissions, there were certain conditions given in the permissions, and apparently there were certain violations of those conditions. Now, as far as the Howrah incident is concerned, Anjani Putra Sena is an organization which is an apolitical organization. I think Riju will also agree with that. So there are, a large number of people. Every year they keep organizing this. So, they've also put up their permissions which they had online. there was a lot of, police people who were aware of it. That I'll just Riju, don't interrupt me now. So, they've put up these permissions online. The police were aware of these. The police were aware of the trouble spots. And if you look at the videos, certain videos and things which are there in social media and otherwise even in newspaper, it's even come out in petitions before the court. People are carrying stones. So this patharbazi culture, is it an import in Bengal? One question. The next is even assuming for the sake of argument but not accepting that there was no permission or whatever, there was a violation of the conditions of permission. Does it give anyone a right to attack a religious rally? Does it allow the police to remain mute spectators and bystanders? Does it allow the police to become biased? Does it allow the police not to allow? In fact, even if you look at if you look at the Tiljala case, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, the chairperson was manhandled. He's filed a complaint also, Mr. Priyank Kanungo. So is this the way Bengal treats the institutions? Now, if you look at, this was not initially, this was in the Riju, moment. There are a lot of questions.
I need to bust the lies here.
Just a moment.
Okay, bust the lies. Go ahead. No, wait.
Because
the question is because Riju Datta, it's 1 versus 3. Let him explain. Let him explain. Please go ahead. Yes.
Thank you so much.
ठीक है, आपने सवाल पूछ दिया, ma'am. Let him respond. Yes.
The gentleman who said Priyank Kanungo was attacked. Now let me ask some valid questions to this gentleman. Priyank Kanungo is now the chairman. Is it true or not that he's a RSS Swamsevak? And then he's a BJP member. Then he was a BJP youth president who allegedly stone pelted a girls' school. Yes or no? You are a lawyer by profession, you should know. And then
can we not talk about individuals and talk about the issue right now here?
Okay. Now coming back to the issue. The application letters that were posted on social media by none other than Amit Malviya was an application letter given to the police. There was nothing uploaded by BJP or any other fringe group where they have actually got the permission. So
just
the rally
please
itself was
don't use the
in
term
nature.
fringe group. Don't use the phrase fringe group. You deliberately are, don't speak in a condescending manner. People who organize Ram Navami Yatras, people who organize, these, they are not fringe groups. Please learn, accept it. This is not. You said there were 10,000 rallies. You said there were 10,000 Shobha Yatras. 10,000 Shobha Yatras, which had a lot of people. All of them represent fringe groups in Bengal. There is a problem in the approach. If your approach is a problem.
How many face violence? How many face violence out of 10,000 Shobha Yatras?
No, so people who organize Shobha Yatras, are they to be called fringe groups? Should you call them in that fashion? It is a question of a fundamental right. It is a fundamental right of a citizen to have his religious belief. No, is it a fault to take out a Shobha Yatra or is it a fault to attack a Shobha Yatra? No, Riju, I'll just, if you can. No, do you condemn the attack on the Shobha Yatras or not? No, Riju, do you condemn the attack on the Shobha Yatras or not?
1 second.
Okay, please
we
go
have
ahead.
nothing against Shobha Yatras. But in Shobha Yatras, if BJP and its fringe groups allow people to carry illegal weapons and start bombing
Riju Datta, my limited question is, first, there is a massive mobilization of arms and ammunition. What did the state government do? You did nothing. You were fully aware that a situation like this could arise because it had happened last year and before that. What did you do? Nothing. Then shouldn't the state government be held accountable? Why is it going slow?
Yes. No. The state government should be held accountable. And I am telling you, where we went wrong was we should have followed the footsteps of Delhi and cancelled all these rallies.
You cannot.
We did not want to cancel a holy
You are not permitted to do it. You cannot cancel rallies.
If you do not have permission,
you cannot.
Hold for Hindus and Ram
Also the failure of
according to TMC, Hindus and Ram are elements.
Okay, Riju Datta, no. The question is that if the state government is not able to handle it, if it is not able to ensure crackdown, then it has to be held accountable. It cannot stop a yatra without a reason. That is where the limited question is.
It's a fundamental right to assemble.
No, that's fine. But if the assembly, the nature of assembly is being questioned here. Mr. Chatterjee, the nature of assembly is being questioned here. Priyanka, please come in. Yes.
That is what I'm saying. They are questioning the nature of assembly. See, these incidents are dangerously setting a trend that, in an adverse way, that people will be attacked and that they will be
listen to her.
This is clear violation.
Listen to her.
This is clear violation of the democratic rights and rule of law. And who should be held responsible? It is the government. It is the Home Minister. Here, she should be questioned. That if she knew that this incident had taken place last year, did she? Is it not her responsibility to ensure that nothing like this happens again? But rather, just listen to the provocative statement of the Chief Minister that don't go to Muslim areas. How can a Chief Minister say that? That don't go to Muslim areas. Yeah, don't lie. It is there. Oh, Mr. Riju, there's no point lying. I am saying that again today. Again today she has said that there will be dangas on 6th. It is Hanuman Jayanti on 6th. And now, in order to curb the rights of Hindus, because according to you, Hindus and Ram Bhakt are fringe elements. So you are saying that they will not celebrate Hanuman Jayanti. We can clearly understand. What you hold, what kind of respect you hold for Hindus, because you do not have the guts to arrest people who are the miscreants as they belong from a particular community. You have lost the election in Sagar Digi. That is why this appeasement is being practiced by you in order to maintain your vote bank. Your Chief Minister has again and again said that Muslims are doodh dene wali guy. Your Chief Minister has again and again said that Muslims are doodh dene wali guy. और उसकी आप लात दिखाएंगे. That is why Hindus are being attacked by these Muslims.
Yes, my limited question is, should the state government have not foreseen it? Did they have some intelligence input that they missed? Was this an intelligence failure? Yes, visibly it appears. This is the same state which has witnessed post-poll violence. What happened post then?
So, no, 1 second, let me ask you. Then was there intelligence failure in Vadodara and Lucknow as well? BJP ruled states?
Yes, questions will be raised, Riju. No, nobody is not questioning them. Questions are being raised. Yes, intelligence failure है, जो visibility दिख रहा है.
People are being arrested.
All right, Priyanka Tibrewal, Riju Datta, Loknath Chatterjee and Professor Roy, thank you so much. We hope situation improves in Bengal and peace prevails. That's all from me. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.
Because they are scared of Rahul Gandhi. So for the Congress party, there is no reason why Rahul Gandhi and all the leaders should not be there, and they certainly do not want to be seen to being very defensive or on a back foot on this.
All right. Pallavi, stay on with us. We also should be getting in a word from court. Janak Dave, our colleague, is joining us live from the Surat Sessions Court. Janak, वहाँ पे अभी क्या माहौल है? सारे कांग्रेस लीडर्स अभी वहाँ पे आ चुके हैं. जो कांग्रेस के शो ऑफ स्ट्रेंथ की हम बात कर रहे हैं, उसके बारे में क्या जानकारी दे सकते हैं? Starting with Rahul Gandhi, as after 10 to 11 days, he is now set to appeal before a Surat Sessions Court over the verdict that had convicted him in a defamation suit that was filed in 2019. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi will be challenging his conviction and sentencing in the Surat Sessions Court at 2:45 p.m. today in connection with the Modi surname defamation case. The appeal is going to be on the grounds that Rahul Gandhi did not defame any OBC community and that the judgment announced was wrong. The Congress leader will be accompanied by Priyanka Gandhi and also Chief Ministers Ashok Gehlot, Bhupesh Baghel and Sukhvinder Singh Sukhu. Other senior leaders, including Digvijay Singh and KC Venugopal, will also accompany Rahul Gandhi. Meanwhile, posters of Rahul Gandhi have been put up on the way to the Surat Sessions Court. On the other hand, BJP has questioned Rahul Gandhi for going to Surat Court to file the appeal, as it is not necessary for him to personally appear as a convict. BJP also slammed Congress leaders for accompanying Rahul Gandhi to Surat and accused the Grand Old Party of pressurizing the court.
ये राहुल गांधी जी का अहंकार है जो पिछड़े समाज से माफ़ी मांगने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। ऐसी क्या मजबूरी है राहुल जी कि आप पिछड़े समाज को अपमानित तो करते हैं लेकिन माफ़ी मांगने के लिए तैयार नहीं होते। ऑर्डर आया, उस दिन भी उनसे कहा गया कि आप माफ़ी मांगना चाहते हैं, तो आपने सुना राहुल जी ने कहा था गांधी हूँ, गांधी माफ़ी नहीं मांगते।
कोर्ट के निर्णय के ऊपर हम बहस नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन अन्याय के खिलाफ तो हम लड़ सकते हैं। तो हम लड़ रहे हैं सरकार के खिलाफ। वो ये नहीं चाहते कि यहाँ पर जेपीसी बिठाए और जेपीसी के ओर से इसकी तनकायत यानी इंक्वायरी हो, वो नहीं चाहते।
आपका ट्रायल चला था, उस समय क्यों नहीं किया? अब जब आपका कन्विक्शन हो गया तो आप जो अपीलेट कोर्ट को आप डराने के लिए, जुडिशरी को आप धमकाने के लिए ये जो नाटक कर रहे हैं, ये बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं है। मैं इसका खंडन करता हूँ। हम लोग जुडिशरी का जो बात होता है वो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव इश्यूज का है। यहाँ मैं जुडिशियल प्रोनाउंसमेंट का बात कर रहा हूँ कि कोर्ट ने जब किसी को कन्विक्शन कर दिया तो उसके बाद ये जो ड्रामा कर रहे हैं, ये बेसिकली जो ऊपर के जो अदालत है उसको ऊपर में दबाव डालने के लिए, डराने के लिए ये कांग्रेस का ड्रामा है। इसलिए मैंने कहा कि कांग्रेस पार्टी पूरे के पूरे एक परिवार को देश से ऊपर मानते हैं।
And frankly, the fact that he took a week or his lawyers took a week to prepare the defense means that we're taking the judiciary with utmost seriousness and we are going ahead and filing a serious appeal. I think there are real doubts about the soundness of the verdict to begin with, and there is also some serious concern about the quantum of the sentence. So on both grounds, I hope there'll be a very strong and robust appeal, and I'm sure that that's why they took a full week to prepare it.
एक तरफ बीजेपी पार्टी कहते हैं कि राहुल जी क्यों नहीं जुडिशियरी के पास जाते हैं, उनका अगर केस है तो क्यों नहीं जाते हैं, अगर जाते हैं तो भी उनको बुरा लगते हैं। हम तो जुडिशियरी के पास ही जाएंगे। राहुल गांधी जो कह दिए हैं वो डरते नहीं, डरने वाला है नहीं। वो मोदी जी से और अमित शाह जी के सामने सर झुकाएंगे नहीं, तो कहां जाएंगे? जुडिशियरी के पास ही तो जाना है।
लीगल टीम अपना काम कर रही है। हमारी गुजरात की लीगल टीम है, हमारी देश की लीगल टीम है, और लीगल एस्पेक्ट को वो देख रहे हैं। हम तो सिर्फ एक कांग्रेस का कार्यकर्ता होने के नाते उनके साथ यहाँ सड़क पे खड़ा होने से हमको कोई रोक नहीं सकता। जब हमारा नेता यहाँ आएगा तो हम उनके साथ खड़े रहेंगे, कांग्रेस का कार्यकर्ता खड़ा रहेगा। अब वो चाहे मुख्यमंत्री है, चाहे कोई आदमी वर्किंग कमेटी का मेंबर है, चाहे कितना भी बड़ा नेता है, भावनात्मक रूप से सब राहुल गांधी के नेतृत्व में हम जुड़े हुए हैं। तो वो जहां जाएंगे देश में, हम सभी जगह जाएंगे उनके साथ।
मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि अपील के अंदर अगर फैसला बगैर किसी दबाव के होता है तो फैसला राहुल गांधी के हक में आएगा। 2 साल की जो उनको सज़ा दी गई है वो ख़त्म हो जाएगी। मानहानि के इस केस में कोई केस ही नहीं बनता है। ये तो एक बड़ी साजिश है, जिस साजिश के तहत ये सब कुछ हुआ है।
And the former law minister, are you surprised?
Why should anyone care about Rahul Gandhi's disqualification apart from the Congress party? It's not as if what he's been disqualified for is a larger public cause.
Are we seeing a sleeper Khalistani nexus at play in Punjab, which has allowed Amritpal to evade the law?
Unfortunately, Punjab has that sleeper cells right from 80s.
मुझे बहुत खुशी हो रही है that we are in conversation with 4 medalists at the World Boxing Championship, the Women's World Boxing Championship, and all of them have won gold.
टारगेट अगर बड़ा होता है तो डिफिकल्टीज भी बड़े ही आते हैं।
Donald Trump trying to run for office again.
Do you reckon he'll be able to win the Republican Party nomination? And why are Republicans still sort of rallying around him?
That Trump will get the Republican nomination. I think if he is nominated, he will lose for sure.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching The Right Stand on CNN News 18 with me, Poonam Burde. Ahead of the 2014 general elections, the then prime ministerial candidate had said, "Na khane dunga, na khaunga." The fight against corruption was a plank back then and it stays one for the BJP and the Prime Minister even today, 10 years later. Today, India's premier investigating agency, the CBI, celebrated its 60 years of service. On that occasion, Prime Minister Modi made it amply clear that there will be no compromise on the fight against corruption. It's the biggest obstacle to the country's development, he declared. The Prime Minister lauded the agency for taking on the influential, for taking on the powerful and shaking the power corridors of this country with its investigations. He even criticized the opposition for activating what he called was the ecosystem whenever it came under attack. Now remember, in the recent past, we've had a united opposition allege witch hunt by the central government against its political opponents via agencies like the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate. Opposition parties have hit the